Hello friends, welcome back to a special video. I'm gonna do a cool resin art with a purpose on an Artist Loft Grade 3 9x12 inch canvas. On this I am using art resin. This clear bottle is resin and this is hardener, and I am mixing resin with Liquitex Nephthol Crimson and Deco Art Extinction Ruby. I am using geode crystals for art resin. This is very fine mirror glass from Unicorn Art, and I am using this geode crystal for art resin. This is very fine mirror glass, and I'm gonna add them as a base for the glitters. The glitters that I am using here are the vintage gold color glass glitter from Recollections, blue German glass glitter which is very reflective, and I will be adding this white fine glitter to the resin. And I think this white resin will form a good base for the resin and will be very reflective. The main stones that I am using here are the blue howlite, and finally I have these mosaic shells which are of varying color from blue to silver, and they are matching the howlite stones. So let's start. I have applied duct tape and secured the back of my canvas and hammered push pins on the four corners to keep them elevated from my table. I am gonna apply Nephthol Crimson to the four sides of the canvas to make them look bright. I am applying small peanut size paint and spreading on the sides with the brush. I want to make sure the sides of my canvas also stand out as the front area. Over this I will be attaching mosaic shells later. It's important to run the paint in smaller strokes initially, that will help the paint to spread, and later run the brush across the whole area for the uniformity. This will create a nice smooth surface. Now turning it to the other side. I did 2 coats of paint on all sides and it is dry now. It's time to tape them. I am securing the sides with the painter's tape, making sure it is lifted at least half a centimeter from the surface of the canvas, so that when I pour the resin it stays on the canvas and does not drip down the sides. The reason I prefer using painter's tape over other tapes is that painter's tape peels off easily without leaving residue or damaging the already painted delicate surfaces of the sides of the canvas. There will be definitely some gaps between the tape and the canvas, so I am rubbing it with my hand. I am wiping the stones with the alcohol wipes. Since I had touched the stones with my bare hands, the oil from my skin may affect the resin and it may turn yellow. To avoid this, it is essential to remove any oil or dirt from them. That's the last one. I am keeping them safe on the paper towel and finally wiping any alcohol residue with the paper towel. Now let's outline the canvas. I want to put the stones at the center. Now marking it with a pen, this is stone number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And I want to place the glitter on the top and bottom of the stones like a cone. Although the canvas is very stiff, still some of the resin will paddle up at the center. To prevent this, I am adding some coffee cup plates. I just piled some of them, making sure they are at the right level and just touching the center of the canvas. This will ensure the resin is uniform all across the art. Just making final adjustments. Now I am positioning the stones in their markings. I am using a heat gun to glue them to the canvas. This will ensure the firmness of the stones and they will not move when I pour the resin. The resin will also add to the stiffness. If you guys remember, at the beginning of the video I said this art is with a purpose. Now it's time to reveal that purpose. The purpose lies in the significance of blue howlite. It is generally used to reduce anger, stress, tensions and anxiety. It helps to calm the energy around the person. These stones help the person to achieve deep and restful sleep. They are mainly found in the United States. Naturally, howlite stones are white and they are dyed to attain this beautiful color, and hence the name blue howlite. I am wiping away any dust particles with a brush. Now I am arranging the mirror glass into the cone-shaped markings. The reason for using the mirror glass is that firstly, it will guide me in the exact position to pour the glitters. Secondly, any object poured into the resin will sink in. So if I add the glass first as a base, I will have to add less glitters. And also, it's economical. Mirror glass is way cheaper than the Recollections glitters. I am pouring equal amounts of resin and hardener in this measuring cup. Since the canvas is 12 by 9 inches, according to the art resin calculator, the required amount of resin is 4 ounces. So I am pouring 2 ounces of resin and 2 ounces of hardener. And I love this cup, it has accurate measurements and I usually pour both my resin and hardener in the same cup. As recommended by the art resin instruction manual, I am stirring thoroughly for a full 3 minutes. I am mixing it slowly. Stirring slowly creates fewer air bubbles. You can see how cloudy it is initially, and as I mix, it becomes more transparent and clear. As I am mixing, I am scraping off sides of the cup as well as the stick, and that's to make sure I do not have any portions of the resin that are not mixing up. The best thing about art resin is that it is safe to use at home and is non-toxic. It does not require a respirator. Just make sure to open the windows a little for ventilation. Now that the resin is thoroughly mixed, I am adding the Deco Art Extreme Sheen Ruby. You can see how little I am adding. This red is shinier than the red color I used on the borders. Time to add extra fine white glitters and mix. Making sure the canvas is firm. I am popping the air bubbles with a blowtorch. Look, most of the bubbles are surrounding and hovering around these stones. I got you guys. I need to spot if there are any remaining bubbles from every angle. It's safe to torch these glitters and stones. Just take care that you do not over torch them. It's difficult for me to sprinkle glitters with fingers without scattering them. So I am using a zip locker bag, making a tiny hole at the edge and using it as a guide to drop the glitters in the resin. Time to add mosaic shells on the corners. I am using a similar size canvas to arrange the shells at the corners. In this way, the recorrections would be easy on a paper than the epoxy resin. Once I am satisfied with the arrangement, I will shift the shells to the setting canvas. I have to do it fast as I have only 45 minutes for the entire working time with art resin. The probe that I am using here is exclusively for my artwork. It's been 24 hours and the resin is hard to touch. I am applying heat at the borders using a heat gun. This will help the tape to come out quickly. The best thing about painter's tape is that it peels off effortlessly. The resin creeps up towards tape, creating an angle in an upward direction. So I am taking it off with a knife and then smooth a little with sandpaper. There are some air bubbles in these two places. I am taking them off with the sandpaper. We don't have to worry how rough it looks. Once we pour the resin over it, the resin creeps on these minor lines and crevices and forms a clear and smooth surface by itself. I like to work on the details. As an artist, it is essential for me that I work on all the proportions of my canvas along with the borders. That makes me satisfied and help the art stand out. So I am gluing the mosaic shells on the borders using a glue gun. Before adding a top coat of resin, it is crucial to clean the table, change the sheet, and remove the dust from the canvas. I am wiping the surface of the entire canvas with the biodegradable wet wipes and will set it aside for few minutes for drying. I have poured a little more than 4 ounces of resin as I need to cover the borders and secure the hanging shells. I am mixing again as per the art resin guidelines. I am taking off some clear resin in the small cup which I will be pouring over the mosaic shells on the corners. In the remaining resin, I am adding fine white glitters. These glitters will add more sparkly depth and dimension to the painting. Spreading the epoxy with my glove finger in between the rocks and also the glitters. eliminating the bubbles again with the blowtorch. This is after 2 days. What should I say? Wow, the results are stunning. It looks so sparkly and twinkling. The edges are so smooth and the whole surface is very uniform and glassy. The stones glued well. I love the purpose of blue howlite stones. Keeping it will give calming energy around. Look at these borders, they all stand out well. And the colors of mosaic shells and blue German glitters, they all match howlite stones. I hope you guys like the detailed presentation of resin art. Please do hit subscribe as it helps me a lot. Please give a like or thumbs up. Thank you guys. See you all.